Hey, all right, this is Dave the Dude here. We're going to work on a Prius 2014, Prius V 2014 door lock problem. Right over here I'm going to come in. This door lock right there works mechanically just fine, but does not work when you click the little clicker or use the automatic door feature on the panel right here. So the first thing we got to do is start by removing a screw right here and another screw right there, and then we're going to remove the light at the bottom and pop this door panel off. We'll show you some more along the way. And just another note here, this is the module behind here that we'll be replacing. It is specific to each door, so you need to have in this case the passenger right front door. The module looks like this. You can see it kind of fits in there just like that. You can check the holes. I found this one online used for 36 bucks. Toyota will charge you 389 bucks for the part and another 250 for labor. It's kind of a ripoff. You can do this. It's not hard. It's all plug and play. I'm going to reach right down in here, and there's a little bit of a plastic piece that you got to get out, and sure enough, if you can see it, there's the screw right down there. It's a Phillips head. The door latch here, you have to get in behind here. So again, with a plastic pry tool, if you get in there, you can pry it from the back forward like that, and it'll just come right out. You have to be a little forceful. There it is, and there's the Phillips head screw. So let's get busy with that. I'll show you the light down below in a second. Bottom of the door. This is the back side of the car, you know, towards the back. I'm going to start with my little pry tool right here and pry that light out. And then you can see there's a little plug there that you just have to separate. It's real easy to do. Watch out, this bulb's a little bit hot. Entire door off. You start at the bottom. There's a handhold here. I'm going to put the camera down where you can see my fingers up under here, and you just give it a good pull like that, and it'll all come off, and work your way around to the top. And then once we've worked our way around to the top, we're going to lift it off of the window jamb up at the top. The door panel off, there's a couple of things you got to remove. You got to remove these two cables, one right here and one right below it. Notice that the green one is on the bottom, and then right down here there's a couple of plugs that you have to remove right there and there. So you just kind of squeeze them and pull them out. The white part stays, or the blue part in this case, and the white part in that case. Just work at it. You'll get it. Door panel off, and just kind of the big picture here. We are going to have to peel back this moisture barrier that I'm pointing back to about here, and just fold it over this way. These are the two cables that go to the door actuator over here. Just another note, we're going to have to be loosening this bolt right here. It's a 10mm socket. That's to allow the window guide down here to move out of the way once we're in here trying to get at that. And the other thing you're going to need, let's see if I can get this to focus on here, is some hex head bits to undo these three bolts. I'll get you the size in just a second. These are not hex head, they're the Torx type of tool. I think that's what they're called. This is a number 2 Torx. We'll go in here and we'll remove all of those. They're machine screws, so be careful putting them back so you don't cross thread them. Here, this black stuff as we peel this back is pretty icky. You don't want to get into it. I'm going to use a plastic knife that you can throw away afterwards to get most of it off and to make it come cleanly, so you get rid of these things like that. Okay, here we go. You can see I've got this moisture barrier peeled back about halfway so that I can get my hand in here and in here. And basic maneuver is we're going to take this bolt here out to loosen up the window track, and then we're going to go with the Torx bolts over here to loosen up the module inside, and then maneuver it to come out over here. One more thing is that as it comes down, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Well, let me try at another angle.
I just want you to see this silver bar that fits into this foot down here. Be careful, leave it connected at the top. It's what the door handle connects to. And when we put the new unit in, it's got to slide back in.
Just another thing is I'm about to remove this 10mm bolt to loosen the window guide. Notice the big plug up here. We're going to remove that. That's the plug that plugs into the top of the unit. Let me just show you here. That's the plug that plugs into the top of this unit right here. And you can see it. This is the plug. It'll end up being right behind that hole. Okay, here we go. Bolt out of the way. And now I'm going to start working on these hex head bolts, you can see.
This window track you have to push back out of the way to let this unit drop down to come out the bottom hole.
The old unit out, that's the one with the cables connected. Here's the new unit. I've got this to show you the orientation. Remember, the green one is on the bottom over here that connects to the door part, but here it's connected to this particular latch. This is the one that you got to get into, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a screwdriver and pry inside here, and it'll lift that little door up. You'll see a little door. Let me see if I can get close. You can see that little door, and I'm just going to work on that and see, and it exposes how to get that out. Okay, so we lift up here and then we maneuver this to get it out. Same thing with this one right here. We're going to lift it up here out of the little catch and then rotate it so that you can get that cable out. Take care of these, don't damage them, because we're going to put them on the new unit. I've got the cables installed on the new unit. The maneuver for putting this back is we're going to bring the cables up in here and then bring them out of the top opening. This is to allow them to be set up to connect. They have to come through the top hole. Okay, one critical maneuver as you put this back in the door, back through this hole right here, is that silver rod I showed you earlier has to go down into that little hole right there. So as you lift this up this way inside there, guide that silver rod inside that hole. It's a little hard to see. You're going to have to do it by feel, but it's got to go there or the exterior door handle won't work. Now, having one of these little screws that came out of the door jamb here that holds it in, when you maneuver this back in position, is of great help, because that's what holds it in position so that you can get the plug lined up again and then get the cables before you tighten it all up. So good note. I'm sorry I didn't say that start, but you want one of these screws laying around first. Machine screws that were the Torx fittings back in. The latch is in place. I've plugged in the plug. Now I'm going to put back the screw that's a 10mm socket to hold the door, the window guide in place. 10mm bolt replaced and the window guide in place. I'm going to work the plastic vapor barrier back to where it is. There's a little slice that goes through here that you can run the cables through, that these two cables go through, and we'll hook the door panel up. I'll show you that. In place. Now we're going to put the door panel back up. We're going to start by plugging in these two plugs, and then we're going to reinstall these two cables that actually operate the door lock and the door handle. Reinstalling. Just a note about reinstalling the door panel. You want to start with the top. These little lips right here, okay, are going to hang on this lip here. You'll see where they go. So kind of start and hang it like this, and it'll drop into place. And then these are the pins, the push pins that go and expand in the door. Some of them may have popped out, like you can see one here that I lost. Here's another one, and here's another one. If you find them on the ground, you can just take them and replace them just like that, so they'll be ready to pop in. And of course, if you can't find them, you can go to the auto store. They're very common, and you can find them. And a note about installing the cables. When we turn around, these little wires with the ball on the end of it right here, okay? What you have to do, I'm going to look real close here, the wire goes in here and the ball goes right in there. And then you lean it back and you lock it into this spot here. There's a little groove. Let's see if I can get a better, right, you lock it into here. So this green part right here, or the white part, gets locked into this part right here. Remember, the green one's going to be on the bottom. Last look while the door panel's still off. The cables are installed right there, and these plugs are installed right there. And as I back out of here, remember, I'm going to hang this on top like this. And just a quick note, make sure you have this plug through the hole before you start pushing this panel, those push pins back in, or you're going to have to pull it all off again. And continuing putting it back together, I'm going to replace this screw here. Remember that one there? And then the same thing down here, I'm going to replace this one. Okay? Okay, the moment of truth. We're inside the car. Remember, you got to have the key fob inside the car. And if I operate the doors from the other side, notice it locks. Oh, that thing moves. Hey, that's great. And we'll just test it with the key fob. I think that'll work inside. No, that doesn't work. Yep, there it goes. And it locks. So that's the way you can do this. Remember, you can do it. This is Dave the Dude signing off. So long.